initially, I didn't think this was going to get anywhere. I feel that the Motability scheme customers, they can feel safe.
Until Martin took this matter to Motability and the insurance company called Direct Line, customers who didn't own their home had no way to get their EV charging points insured. But who is Martin?
My name's Martin, and I'm a full-time carer for my wife, and she's disabled. And she's on a Motability scheme, and she's leasing an electric car through them.
The Mobility scheme allows you to exchange your qualifying mobility allowance for a brand new car. It partners with companies like Direct Line who handle insurance for the Mobility scheme customers. At this point, you might also think, why is insurance for charging points necessary?
We had a strange experience when it was first installed. They put it in the wrong place, and secondly, I was worried that the kids on the street would see it as a little toy and maybe damage it or something.
Martin also asked Motability the same question.
They said, no, it's not insured. It's only the car only. So I said to them, well, surely if the charging point fails, or if it breaks, or if it gets damaged, then you can't actually use the car. So how is that helpful for any disabled customers? But I raised the complaint with them. They said they would raise it to a board level, and they needed to raise it with Direct Line and with themselves and discuss it on a higher level.
Martin's concerns were valid. A recent article in BBC also highlighted that by 2035, an estimated 2.7 million disabled people in the UK will either be drivers or passengers of electric vehicles. Half of them are expected to depend on public charging infrastructure. Disabled drivers and organizations have also raised concerns about its accessibility, adding another challenge in the transition to electric vehicles.
As a tenant and a customer of Motability scheme, you're in a situation where the charging point isn't insured, so you can't get building insurance as they suggested.
Typically, homeowners have building insurance, but charging points are often installed outside, and many tenants like Martin don't own their home, and content insurance didn't really help him.
And then it's not covered by content insurance. You can maybe possibly get, but out of seven of insurance companies that I contacted, none of them gave a content insurance for the charging points. So you were in limbo as a tenant. You had nowhere to turn to. Looking further into it, I looked at the Direct Line, and I noticed on their website they offer charge point covers when you buy private electric car insurance with them. And I thought, oh, why aren't they offering that for Motability customers? Why is it? If you're a private customers, you can do that, but not if you're a Motability customers. And I actually asked an MP if that's fair, and he said no. And I said that's slightly discriminatory, isn't it? And we had to be careful with our words there, but yes, it was, and that's something I mentioned in the letter to Motability.
While the private customers still had a way to get their charging points insured, customers like Martin and many others still needed that protection. And Martin, through his efforts and persistence, made a difference.
But eventually, somebody somewhere agreed to it and said, yes, that customer's correct. They need to be protected. Accidental damage, fire and theft is now covered for every person that's got Motability electric vehicles in the UK. It's now included in the policy. I actually think that's how it should have been in the first place.